And you're very welcome. It's the 2nd of February, 2021. And this is The Beautiful Truth with Fintan Dunn in Ireland and down in Melbourne, Australia. It's Marina Jeffrey. How are you doing, Marina?
I'm doing great today, Fintan.
Okay. Well, we have very important developments and news to update you on from both Melbourne and from the United Kingdom end of this Betfair issue. But we're going to start with information that has come to our attention in the last few days. And that is that it seems that Betfair have deleted vital evidential material from the internet, where they gave guidance to clients just hours before the market closed. That guidance to the clients told them that this market would remain open. And instead, some hours later, the market was closed. Well, that information was deleted from the internet. That advice was deleted. But we fortunately have recovered that information and we're in a position to establish that Betfair seem to be behaving or misbehaving in relation to this issue. In fact, Marina, it was you who was on that thread and that interaction between customers and Betfair, which was going on from the 10th to the 14th. You were following that thread and you were commenting on it too, Marina.
Correct, yes.
I'll just put it up here for people so that they can check it out there. So there you see, this is a Twitter, and somebody called Purbus Betting is on to Betfair customer services saying, I might have missed it, but is there a reason you have not settled the US president market? I can't find a reason in your own rules for why. What are the new rules you're applying to the market? So there then was a response from Don Curzon saying the rules have disappeared, probably adjusting them on the 15th, but we'll come to that another day. Let's take another track on that then. So here we are now looking at it from your point of view, Marina, as you saw this thread with that initial question on the 10th, and Betfair came in quickly and said, hi there, there's still some uncertainty around the outcome given the possibility of recounts and potential legal challenges, said Shannon. And a couple of days passed by. We're now on December the 12th. And Arthur Cheng chips in. He says, thank you, Shannon. Shannon's the person in Betfair. It's the right call to wait for all potential recounts and or potential legal challenges to conclude before settling the market. Well, fair play to you, Arthur. And Betfair Help comes in and says, a day later, thanks for understanding our position, Arthur, says Michael M. My God, Marina, that's just so clear that they're keeping the market open, isn't it? Is that what you took it to mean when you were following this?
100%.
Yeah. And then here we are then on the 14th of December, and it's Purbus Betting back again 4 days later saying, hi, I'm just trying to understand what the Betfair rules are. Betfair have changed their own rules for settlement by the looks of it. Can Betfair explain when they will settle this market, please? And following that, we have another tweet. This tweet was deleted by the tweet author. It says, it's missing, it's gone. But you did chip in, Marina. You chipped in after, and you said, maybe you read it there for us. Oh boy, I hope they've factored in the potentiality of massive legal actions of their conduct. Well, you've got that missing tweet, haven't you, Marina? Because you saved that tweet.
Yes.
Bless you. And you have that thing that was said because, in fact, that tweet was put up by Betfair.
I screenshotted all of them.
You screenshot it, and we've got it here for you folks. We've got the screenshot, and we've got more. We've got legal evidential proof here. But you're now looking at that thread there and the missing tweet deleted by the tweet author. Well, here it is. And here's what it said. Hi there. Apologies for the delay in getting back to you. The markets will remain open for trading until we can settle uncertainty. There are electoral events that are still to take place within the coming month. before there's certainty on the matter. Radina, 4:31 a.m. on the 15th of the 12th, Melbourne time. And you have that screenshotted. Terrific, Marina. You've got another screenshot as well. Here we are again. You're seeing the same thing. And Ben Gardner had responded. And unfortunately, Ben Gardner's response is gone, along with the original tweet from Betfair. So there we are, Marina. I mean, it's absolutely clear that they were leaving that market open. And they issued that instruction, that advice that they were just some hours. How did that make you feel at the time?
Completely
when it was
misled.
Closed, I mean.
Completely misled and deceived, cheated and robbed, from my personal perspective.
Yeah. And folks, we've got more than that for you, because, you know, I'm not saying that you would, Marina, you know, fake a screenshot, but screenshots can be manipulated. Now you're giving me eyewitness testimony that you were there, you saw this, you screenshotted it. So all it's doing is confirming what you're giving personal testimony to, because you were there, you did comment on that thread. But just to absolutely establish it beyond any possible doubt, we are indebted to an individual who went to the Wayback Machine, the Internet Archive. I don't know who it was. This link was circulating among the groups who have been investigating this issue. And here we see the URL, which is being saved here. It's twitter.com, Marina Jeffrey 21, status, blah, blah, blah. So this is this particular tweet, this one. Oh boy, I hope they factored in. That's what we're looking at on the Wayback Machine. And it was saved to an independent Internet Archive on the 14th of December, one time. And here we'll see it here. And here it is on the 14th of December. And here you see the time, 22:33:21. I presume that's GMT, which will be consistent with what we know. So it was saved late on the 14th, possibly by someone in the United Kingdom. Who knows? If you are the person who saved this, thank you. Because we're now going to click on this and see what Betfair deleted. I'm letting this play live for you folks, so you know there's no manipulation here. This is web.archive.org, an independent, huge Internet Archive, and it's about to reveal to us what it is that Betfair felt that they had to delete. And you can see here the original thread here now is being displayed to you from the Internet Archive. And there's that message. Hi there, apologies for the delay in getting back to you. And this is Betfair Help. You see how it's hyperlinking there, Betfair Help. So this is that page saved. And this is unquestionably legal proof that that was deleted by Betfair. You see, it says that that's 5 hours ago, which it would have been about the time. So it was, of course, early in the morning when you screenshotted it, Marina, your time in Melbourne, but it was still GMT time was the 14th. And there is that thread now. And there we see. So I'd like you folks to compare this here with this here. This here reveals to you what advice Betfair gave to their customers just hours before they closed the market. And this here shows you that that advice has been deleted by the tweet author, which is Betfair. Now that's downright bold, that is, Marina.
It certainly is.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't like to cast any aspersions on Radina in Betfair, who authored that. Radina is an individual who is in Betfair. You will find, if you search, other posts from her. So she's been there for at least about a year. Certainly, she's there for all of 2020. And perhaps there is a benign explanation for why this tweet was deleted. Perhaps Redina was acting on instructions from the company. I think these are matters that should be investigated by IBAS in the United Kingdom, because it's materially affecting our chances of a fair adjudication of our case with IBAS. And it really would show that they're acting in bad faith. Do you think the Australian regulator would also be interested in investigating why this was done, Marina?
Definitely. And I've been in contact with both regulators, not in relation to this matter, but that's coming next. Yes, their responsibility now to launch an investigation into this. And what comes to mind when you shared with me that they deleted that was that he or she who has nothing to hide hides nothing. So it's, yeah, very telling indeed that that was deleted.
Yeah. And the entire thread is incriminating, of our general case, Marina. It's incriminating of Betfair, because you can clearly see Betfair patting themselves on the back here and saying, thanks for understanding our position, Arthur. On the 13th, our position that we're waiting for all potential recounts or legal challenges to conclude. And then this telling tweet where they say, there are electoral events that are still to take place within the coming month. Within the coming month, this is on the 14th of December, hours before they close it. They start talking about what's going to happen within the coming month, and then they shut the market a number of hours later. Now, I don't think that any reasonable person would object to us taking a very unkind view of that and putting the worst possible construction on it, with all respect to Redina and to the benign explanations that Betfair may have for this. But that's just too suspicious. That is the last and most clear instruction that Betfair gave to the market there. How are you getting on with the legal side of this, Marina? You've been in touch with the chief executive officers of Betfair in the United Kingdom and also in Australia. Just tell us a little about that, please.
So just to give a little bit of background, I was following your Facebook group, which I believe at the time when I joined, there was approximately 300 odd punters in there following that group, because they'd been following the videos that you were covering, because we were looking for someone covering Betfair and came across you, thankfully. And I was following that group closely and watching people wanting to take some action to get some redress and to get some reasonable, answers to some reasonable questions. So on the 1st of January, having experienced what I personally experienced and seeing what others were communicating within that Facebook group, which had at that stage grown to, I believe, over 1,000 individuals, I put out a call to action where I shared an email that I had drafted, a template that I had sent to Peter Jackson at betfair.com, as well as Tim, got his name here, the CEO of Betfair in Australia, Tim Moore Barton, hyphenated. So both Peter Jackson at Betfair, Tim Moore Barton at Betfair, and Peter Jackson at Flutter were sent an email directly in which I copied in the Racing Commission for the Northern Territory Racing Commission Australia, which is our regulatory body, as well as IBAS. And I asked everyone else that wanted to lodge a complaint with the CEOs, as well as copy in the regulatory body, so that they could have oversight of what we were asking and what we had some reasonable questions to ask. I put out a call to action, and I didn't count how many people responded, but at least 100 for sure, potentially 300 or more. We could go back through the thread and count them, but a lot of people rose to this call to action and sent out this email. And this was sent out from on the 1st of January by me, and in the coming days by others. So I wanted to just highlight some of the key points that were raised and brought to the direct attention of the CEOs. So I've let them both know, no doubt you are well aware that many punters worldwide have reported Betfair's alleged misconduct to their regulatory bodies, IBAS and NTRC. On December 16, 2020, IBAS released a timely statement in which they said, quote, bookmakers talk about the lifting of the trophy as being the determining point for settling winners and losers. In IBAS's eyes, there is no doubt that this approach is sensible, practical, and delivers the greatest good for the greatest number of customers. Now, the trophy wasn't lifted, to my knowledge, until the inauguration on the 20th. So IBAS went on to say that if they were asked to adjudicate a complaint related to the premature settlement of a US election market, they would look at whether the company in question had, quote, set out the point at which bets on the US presidential elections will be settled. Has that point been reached? Has the company acted reasonably in the approach they have taken in the unusual circumstances of a protracted, legally contested election result? Now, I just wanted to stop there and highlight, I am aware of approximately 30 legal challenges that are still open. So there is still uncertainty around the results. And meanwhile, now switching to our regulatory body, NTRC, here in Australia, we've stated, meanwhile, the NTRC has confirmed that they have received, quote, a significant number of disputes arising from the settlement of wagers struck on the outcome of the United States of America election markets, and conscious that the US Congress is scheduled to meet on 6th of January 2021, where it is understood the winner of the 2020 presidential election is to be declared. So that timeline didn't pass. They prematurely suspended the market on December the 14th, while misleading punters that the market would remain open. Now, it's got, furthermore, Northern Territory Racing Commission went on to say, when results are officially declared and published and are available in the public domain, the Commission advises that these results will be relied upon should clients have valid winning disputes they seek to pursue. Having said that, clients are encouraged to contact the wagering operators initially in an attempt to resolve the matter. So based on the regulator in Australia encouraging us to try and resolve the matter in Australia directly with Betfair, I contacted Betfair and asked some reasonable questions. The first one being, why did Betfair fail to allow for the 12th Amendment of the United States Constitution to play out in full and in accordance with the terms set out under the 12th Amendment as stipulated in your market rules for the next president category? 2, once the legitimate, emphasis on legitimate, winner of the next president, popular vote, and other relevant markets which have been suspended have been, quote, them unequivocally determined, confirmed beyond doubt, with clarity around any potential legal challenges. So this was a sampling of language that Betfair used through the official statements prior to prematurely closing several US political markets. Will Betfair resettle these markets in favour of punters who place bets on Donald Trump should he be declared the official winner of any and all applicable markets? Last question related to, do they record their calls? Now, we also submitted a sampling in a PDF form of written statements made by Betfair and their customer service officers and other supporting evidence, 42 images in total. That was presented and accompanied the email that was sent by minimum 100 people. I predict more. We've received confirmation of red receipts, delivery receipt notices. So from 1st of January, no one has received a response to those reasonable questions. I did conclude with, I would appreciate a clear and adequate response to the 3 questions above within 72 hours of receipt of this email. So this is where we were at. We've had no response. I have followed up since on the 26th of January, putting them on notice that I have not received a response, and also asking them if they could please provide us with the department that is appropriate for legal documents to be served should the need for litigation be required at any time. So that's where we're at. I'm yet to receive a response to that as well. And now it appears we need to look at pushing the regulators, both IBAS and Northern Territory Racing Commission, to launch a full investigation. And your evidence now that what's transpired with them deleting documented contemporaneous evidence, that's very telling indeed. So that's where we're at from my standpoint. And now we've got over 1,000 people waiting to for the next step.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's very disappointing. It's very disappointing they haven't responded at all. So I think we have, as you say, we have exhausted the process as far as it goes, and without a response. There isn't the Australian regulatory bodies, they're not so hands-on as IBAS is in the United Kingdom, you know, so it really was up to Betfair to respond to you, and they haven't. Instead, we have this terrible deletion of material. We don't know when that was deleted, but that would seem to indicate acting in bad faith. And, you know, would be prudent. You know, it's important to raise the issue of the recording of phone calls. I know many of our claimants were on the phones. So whatever was displayed on a computer screen doesn't apply, because they phoned in to place bets. And therefore, the recordings of those calls are very important, because many of our claimants are saying that they received assurances this market was staying open, and they received those over the phone. So yes, we need to echo that. And I have, and I know that you are about to, before close of business today, let's just say that the regulators in Australia and in the United Kingdom will be asked to investigate this matter. You'll be doing that in Melbourne, Marina?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so guys, if you would like to help out on that, I'll just throw up an email address there. So what you can do is just email IBAS team there at ibas-co.uk.co.uk, and put a subject line of investigate Betfair, and support the call for an investigation of Betfair by IBAS as a result of documented evidence of them deleting very pertinent material, and that in the interests of natural justice, that it would be important that Betfair would take this very seriously, that they would deal with IBAS on this frankly, and that they would explain the reasons for the deletion of this material, and they would comment on the status of all other materials and whether they have deleted other materials. All that does need to be looked into. But I would say, Marina, one thing I am happy about is the response which we have gotten from IBAS and from the Australian regulators, which seem even-handed and fair so far. This is a statement put out on the 22nd of January by the Independent Betting Adjudication Service in the UK, IBAS, and they commented on the status of the elections. And they did clarify that there were arguments about what the appropriate date to close that market was, and they acknowledged that there were arguable dates for 7th of November, or arguable dates for 6th of January, arguable dates for 20th of January, and they said, I think that they laid that out very well without prejudicing the question of which of those dates was the right one. And so that really encouraged me, Marina, that the regulators and the people who are in a position to adjudicate on this matter seem to be acting even-handedly. So let's hope that we do get an investigation from both of them, both in the UK and in Australia. Can you see that we're going to have to move forward to legal action here in Australia? Because
if the Northern Territory, if the Northern Territory Racing Commission, being the oversight committee or the regulatory board here, doesn't address this in an appropriate and timely and fair manner, because I've looked into the Trade Practices Act and the contractual agreements area as well. So we've got issues here, serious ones. At least we have misleading conduct and documented evidence, phone call recordings, at the very least. I'm personally feeling that Betfair has engaged in not only misleading conduct, also intentionally deceptive conduct with the latest revelations with the Twitter tweet being removed. So, but I'll reserve my judgment. At the end of the day, it'll come down to what the documents state. We have that evidence, and we expect that the regulatory board, both in Australia and IBAS over in the UK, to do their job. That's in everyone's best interest, and that's the role they play. So at this stage, I'm not feeling that I want to personally pursue the legal channel. I want to give them a reasonable opportunity to address this and provide us with, reasonable answers to the reasonable questions that are being raised. And furthermore, the fact that Betfair has changed their market rules for the 2024 election, learning from their mistakes in hindsight is great, but that doesn't restore those who contracted with them with good intentions based on the information we were given. And then those terms turned out to be misleading, leading up to the premature settlement of the market, on the day of and post that premature settlement. So yes, legal action is definitely something I know that I will commit to if it becomes necessary. I'm no stranger to litigation. I'm currently a self-represented litigant against one of our major banks in Australia. And I'm going to take this as far as necessary, not just for myself, but more for the people, not just in Australia, in the UK and around the world, that came in with good intentions, trusted Betfair, and yeah, we're going to take this as far as we need to. And hopefully for Betfair, factoring in their reputational damage, that they will take that into consideration and act fairly and appropriately. And if they won't do that on their own accord, I trust that the regulatory bodies will, provide us with the restitution that we're entitled to, whatever that may be. Yeah, depending on everyone's unique circumstances.
Yeah, well, there, as you say, there's a question of whether something was deceptive. Well, of course, that depends on what was going on. So it is deceptive if it was knowingly misleading clients. It was simply misleading intentionally or otherwise if it was unintentional. So, we just have to work off of the best assumption there. But working off of what they said, they indicated that they required a clear electoral college win. This is one of the phrases they used. I think on the 3rd, a clear electoral college win. Now, you cannot characterize a clear electoral college win as what just happened, because that was anything but clear win. There was high level of a legal challenge and political challenge to that result. And as you say, the new if folks aren't aware of this, the new rules Betfair have implemented, new in the sense for the 2024 election, is that they're now saying that they would not settle such a market in 2024 if there is a contested outcome, if the other person hasn't conceded, which of course Donald Trump hadn't. And they also say they wouldn't in any event close such a market until the 6th of January, when the joint session of the House and Senate takes place. So yes, they are now, I think, acknowledging that they needed to, and they have also tellingly changed the title of that bet to election winner, not next president, which it was when we put on bets. Next president is a bet on an outcome. And this is where what you're saying about the mis-selling of this comes in. That, regardless of outcome now, Marina, regardless of this case that we've just discussed there's a case to be answered about mis-selling here and the behavior of Betfair titling something as a next president bet, and then in practice acting as if it's not that at all. It's an entirely different bet. That's got to be faced up to anyway. Do IBAS need to hold them to account? Do the Australian regulators need to hold them to account on that?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And if they won't, that's where we have enough people to bring a class action, multiple class actions if necessary, although no one wants to go through that. And we shouldn't be expected to go through that, because, there is a fair and reasonable way to settle this if they act in good conscience and in good faith.
Yeah.
And time will tell how this transpires, but we will take it all the way.
Yeah. Well, they have an opportunity so to do, and I think that the High Court, for example, would take a very dim view of it if two parties were to come before it contesting a matter, that both parties had an independent arbitrator available that they could have used and that they didn't use. So really,
Yes.
I think it's in defense. I think the Australian courts would probably take the same view that, there are bodies there, there are mechanisms there which you can use to resolve these disputes, and you have to engage with it and do it. But
Yes.
leaving that aside, the serious nature of what we have discovered and the implications of them having deleted that and perhaps other material, that's something that we need to have investigated straight away. That's where we need your support, folks, and that's where we need you to contact, as we said, the IBAS team at ibas-uk.co.uk with an email entitled Investigate Betfair, and say that you support an investigation into the deletion of this material and any other implications that might have. So you can follow us on the Facebook group. I'm going to put that up here now. And that's the Betfair Trump Punters Legal Action group on Facebook. And of course, we also have a presence on Telegram. And if you just search for Betfair Legal Action, what's your one, Marina, on Telegram? You have a group on Telegram?
It's DJT, so D for Donald, J for John, and T for Trump. So DJT Punters United is the Telegram group that we have, and we've got close to 500,000 community members there. By the way, I just want to put a disclaimer in. Anyone wanting to join that group, in the pinned message, there is a rule there. Specifically, respect, don't cause division. Trolls, scammers, spammers aren't welcome. We are not like other groups where we allow you to just post whatever you want to cause division. We've seen people with ulterior motives there in other groups. So I have myself, I'm an admin, I have 3 other admins. We closely monitor that group because we are there to help unite people, not divide people. So just a warning, please read the pinned post and comply with the one rule that we do have. Otherwise, you will be promptly deleted. We keep our eyes closely on that group, and the energy there is amazing too, and we want to keep it that way. So yeah, join at your own risk, come with good intentions and an uplifting positive energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm just, and you, Marina, you're just another person who's among the many who bet on Trump. And so folks, we're just people who are in the same boat as yourselves. But we are going to discharge the thing that we're doing here responsibly and do it properly. And I think it is time to narrow the focus of those groups. We're not going to start recontesting the election in these groups. We're not going to start going through the Q material in this group. So I'm wondering about all of that stuff that might happen down the road. I'm sure a lot of truth is going to come out about this election.
Yes.
But right now, our focus is solely on this issue of when that market was closed and the question of valuable evidence being deleted. So
correct.
If you have an opportunity to do so, email IBAS team. You can also go to IBAS or just search for ibas.co.uk on Google, find them and get in touch there. You could quote, if you would, your IBAS reference number, which you got from Betfair, in your email when you're asking for that investigation, just to make it clear that you have an interest in the matter, a direct interest. And I'd ask people who don't have a direct interest themselves in this and haven't got an IBAS number, then please don't email IBAS, because you have no standing in the matter. And while we appreciate your support in the groups and on Facebook, just those of you who have got an IBAS reference number, include that in your email when you're saying, look, for a fair evaluation of my complaint, which I'm in the process of putting together. And we are, folks, in the process. We hope to be shortly have a document which we will circulate and which will be the basis for both in Australia and in the United Kingdom moving forward these issues. Would you be asking IBAS there to, in the light of the fact that you're preparing your own full submission on what happened to you and your bet, that you're concerned that information is being deleted and you want that looked into. And hopefully we will get some progress on that. And I'm very encouraged as well too by the potential we have for getting this issue resolved in Australia. Thanks very much, Marina, for
Thank you, Fintan. It's a pleasure again.
Okay, yeah. Okay, folks, that's about it for this edition. You will find us, as I say, on the Facebook page. So just Google Betfair Trump Punters Legal Action, or go to Facebook and type that in and search. Find us there, and you'll find the Telegram links. You'll find the community of people who are discussing this, and we can help to pool evidence and make the best case that we possibly can when we put forward to the regulators the whole basis that this thing needs to be looked into. All right. And stay tuned for more. Thanks very much for joining us, folks. And this has been Fintan Dunn reporting.